Joe was not only a habitual smoker, but he was addicted to alcohol. And then he had children.
I tried to not expose them to my use. I would never use in the house around them. I would go into the basement and use. I would go into the garage and use. And, I think that indirectly I communicated to them by the way I reacted to them coming where I was, and also hiding a way to do it, that I was doing something wrong.
His hiding proved unsuccessful. His daughter Courtney said she definitely noticed a difference in his personality when he was high, and that sometimes she would hang around him when he was smoking.
I remember him trying to go out in the window well in the basement and thinking that was really rebel and dangerous or whatever, but I thought it was kind of cool, even though I totally didn't approve. I don't know, and only recently I found out that he, before I was born, he tried doing it, in our closets, and he tried doing it with our tomato plants, so, in the compost pile, but he was never very successful, because he was always overeager about it, and wouldn't let it grow.
When Courtney was in 5th grade, she was enrolled in DARE, Drugs and Alcohol Education. This is when she started her self-described mission to rid her father of the habit. She would slip informational packets she got at school, amongst his other things, and then she confronted him.
As it got worse, I went from, my mission to, make him stop, to becoming, this caretaker.
At this point, Courtney was about 16.
I think the alcohol was way bigger of an effect, but he did them simultaneously, so it's kind of hard to differentiate. My mom got more and more out of control, she couldn't handle it anymore. She kind of shut down. I know for a while she kind of hid out in her bedroom. And my brother and I were just left to kind of fend for ourselves, and I kind of just wound up in the caretaker position. I'd clean up his piss, or a blanket over him, lay him down to sleep, bring him out from outside, or clean up his clothes or something, and dump out his liquor in his pot, and leave him down.
One day, Joe's life took an even more drastic turn.
After being married for 23 years, my wife had finally had it, and she threw me out of the house. I was absolutely mad at it. And I did both smoking marijuana and drinking alcohol as much as I possibly could. And it damaged me physically, it damaged me socially, and it damaged my relationship with my family members. So having my 23-year marriage and having my day-to-day relationship with my kids, and which is the biggest thing that I regret, and losing my home, that kind of got my attention. Despite that, when I first entered into treatment, I didn't want to be sober. I wanted my life back. I wanted to get out of trouble.
Joe immediately entered treatment, but during the divorce proceedings, he figured, what's the use? And he returned to drugs and alcohol.
I have lost everything, and I don't know that I felt like I had a lot of reason to live at that time. And although I wasn't, actively suicidal, I really had lost reason and purpose in my life. It's an absolute miracle that I'm still alive, because there are situations that I did overdose. There were times, that I look back on and I say, why me? Why me? Why did I live? Not that I prefer to live, but wow, it's amazing that I was spared. And it really feels like an absolute miracle that I'm still alive.
He's now been sober from alcohol for 6 years and marijuana for 5. Joe says that he is now a more successful and better therapist, because experience has humbled him to be more sensitive and heartfelt in the way he relates to others.
My life is better than it has ever been. One of the huge problems that I was trying to solve with my drug use is I had horrible self-esteem. The John Sucks channel was playing in my head all the time. And somewhere during my treatment, that disappeared. I started feeling like I was okay. I didn't feel like I was a rock star, but I felt like I was okay.
Like Cat Stevens sings, if you want to live high, and if you want to live low, because there is a million ways to go. You know that there are.
The opportunity
The fact that pot is currently being heavily covered in the media could be an affirmation that there is certainly a sizable subculture of older smokers out there. Marijuana's effects vary greatly in the hand of every user. His experience may differ because of his social, economic background, gender, age, or simply how he chooses to use it. I would like to thank my interviewees Randy, Joe, and Courtney, the Hickersons for their assistance, and the DePaul Digital Cinema Equipment Center for their help. Music was provided by Randy, Cat Stevens, and John Hassel.
To be me, be me. And if you want to be you, be you. 'Cause there's a million things.